Hello, welcome back to Animated Literacy. This is alternate lesson number 74. For the sound and letter of V, we have two different lessons, so you can either choose the one that you like best, or if you like them both, you can go ahead and teach both lessons for the sound of V. So in this lesson, we're going to be learning about a character named Vinnie Vulture. And so we'll be learning his sound and gesture. Before we do that, we'll do a little bit of practice with our sounds once more. So we did vowels last time, so let's do some practice with our consonants. And this time, let's use the song that we introduced earlier called B-A Bay. So let's sing the first verse to that. So sing it after me. Bay-A Bay, Bay-A Bay, Bay-E beat, Bay-E beat. Bay I binny by, bay I binny by, bay oh boy, bay oh boy, binny by bo, binny by bo, bay you bow, binny by bo, bow wow, binny by bo, bow wow. And then we did a chorus that looks like this. This is such a silly song. Sing it back. This is such a silly song. Shrug your shoulders. Doesn't mean a thing. It doesn't mean a thing. So toss it out. Never mind the silly words. Never mind the silly words. Just pick a sound and sing. W. So pretend to wash. Way, 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 wheat. Way I winnie why, way oh woy, winnie why woe way, you wow winnie why woe wow wow. Now let's use that same chorus and let's practice it a little bit faster. Ready? So show me chopping. Che che, che cheat. Nay I ninny nigh, nay oh noy, shaving. Shinny shy show shay you shall. Minnie my mo mow wow. This is such a silly song. It doesn't mean a thing. Never mind the silly words. Just pick a sound and sing. Fishing. Fay a fay. Fay e feet catching. K I kinny kai. K o koi. Bowing, binny by bo, bay you bow gliding, guinea guy go gow wow. Silly again. This is such a silly song. It doesn't mean a thing. Never mind the silly words. Just pick a sound and sing. Juggling, J-A-J, J-E jeet. Hey hi hinny hi, hey oh hoy, blowing kisses. Kinny kai ko ke you cow, sinny sai so sow. Wow, keep going. Pay a pay, pay e peat. Tay I tinny tie, tay o toy. Rinny ry ro ray you row. Dinny die do dow wow. Now we can do that same thing, but with emphasizing our letters instead of the pictures, because as you get further and further along, you want to be able to do these activities without having to see the picture of the character. So here I've got some cards that just have letters on them. So can you do the same activity but without seeing the character's picture? Tickling, tay a tay, tay e t, say I sinny sai, say oh soy, stinny sty sto stay you stow. Pinny pie po pow pow. May a may, there's your magic mop. Day a day dancing, blowing kisses. K I kinny kai, ray o roy. Finny fi fo fay you fow. Frinny fry fro frow wow. So the faster you get at this, the better you'll be able to read and write words. Okay, as always, we're going to talk about things that we know and add to the things that we know by looking at some books. So in this story of Vinnie Vulture, we're going to be playing hide and seek, and we did some hide and seek songs. So do you remember when we did Skip to My Lou? Lost my partner, what'll I do? Skip to my Lou, my partner. And then you go looking for your partner and they come out from where they're hiding. Found my partner, what'll I do? Skip to my Lou, my darling. So hide and seek is a really fun game to play. And it turns out that animals like to play hide and seek. And they're very good at it. And here's a Skyberry book that talks about how animals are able to hide. And it's because they have this big word called camouflage. A lot of times animals' bodies are made to look like the environment that they live in. So when you look, you don't see the animal. You see the trees and you see the leaves and you see the sticks and you see the sand, but the animal is able to hide there. So you can read this Skyberry book to learn about ways that animals are able to play hide and seek. And since our character today, our vulture, is a bird, we're going to be talking about birds. And this is a Skyberry book that's called About Birds. So you could read that story. Now we need to read some books that have lots of adjectives and verbs in them that we can use when it's time to do our drawing and labeling. So this is a book that is called Bring on the Birds. And when we learned about Whirling Irving, we drew pictures of two kinds of birds. We drew pictures of a bird here, and we drew a picture of a turkey that is also a bird. And then I used the book Bring on the Birds to find lots of adjectives and lots of verbs that I could use in my labeling. So when you read that story, if you have the Skyberry app, you can make a chart. And here are just some of the adjectives that would be on the chart. Puffy, fluffy, jagged, high, long, dull, dazzling, powerful, shimmering, nocturnal, shallow, silent, small, tallest, loud. So up here, all of these adjectives are included in that book. Then down here, all of these verbs are included in that book. So we've got swooping, whooping, dancing, hunt, bow, spread, protect, hiss, leap, fly, lick. Lots and lots of adjectives that you can use there. And I used many of those adjectives when I was labeling my picture. So here I have a large turkey that struts. I've got a happy girl that smiles, a red bird that pecks, and he's sitting on a round perch that holds. And here's a slow turtle that paddles, and he has a green shell that protects. And this is a large turkey that struts. So using those books will give you lots of words that you can learn to read and write and that you can use in your labeling. So now I want to tell you our story about Vinnie Vulture. Before I do that, let's talk just a little bit about the violin, because Vinnie likes to play the violin, and the violin is very much like a fiddle. And you might remember this book that we read earlier called Fiddle-I-Fee, where the cat is fiddling. And so he's playing an instrument that is the same as a violin, except that it's called by a different name. It's called a fiddle. And it went like this. I had a cat, and the cat pleased me. I fed my cat by yonder tree. Cat goes fiddle-I-fee, fiddle-I-fee. Now, if we used today's sound for Vinnie Vulture, instead of the cat going fiddle-I-fee, what do you think that cat might do? Viddle-I-vee, viddle-I-vee. And here was another story that had a fiddle in it. And Turkey in the Straw is a very popular old song that's played on the fiddle, or as another name for it is what? A violin. So now here's Vinnie Vulture. Now Vinnie Vulture loves to play hide and seek. And fortunately for Vinnie, he lives in a garden that has lots of vines that grow grapes on them. And so he can go off and hide in the vines. And here is a picture of Vinnie Vulture hiding in the vines. And he also uses his wings to hide. So he pulls his wings up over his head like this so that he can vanish or hide in all of the vines. Now, hiding is a lot of fun, but if nobody comes to find you, after a while it gets kind of boring being all by yourself there. So whenever Vinnie gets bored because nobody comes to find him, he uses his voluminous vulture voice to sing a song. And so he starts singing his vulture song, and when all the other vultures hear Vinnie's song, they come to join in a sing-along, and they have fun for the rest of the afternoon singing songs together. But one day, Vinnie was hiding, and he got bored, and he went to sing, but his voice had vanished. He had completely lost his voice. Well, fortunately for Vinnie, he found a violin in the vines. And he had already learned how to play the violin. So he got out that violin and he began bowing it like this and playing beautiful music. And when the vultures heard the music, they came and Vinnie kept playing and they sang along with whatever tune he was playing. And so that was a lot of fun. So you might think that Vinnie was really sad that he lost his voice. But it turns out he wasn't sad at all about losing his voice, because had he not lost his voice, he might have never known how much the other vultures liked to listen to his violin playing. So now whenever you think of Vinnie Vulture, you think about how he likes to vanish. And so you pretend to take your vulture wings. And here's Vinnie with his wings. You pull your wings up over your head like this, and you pretend to vanish, and you go for vanishing. Now when you make Vinnie's sound, you put your teeth right on top of your lower lip like this. So you put your top teeth on top of your lip. And then you make your lip vibrate by going. Can you feel that kind of tickle as you're making Vinnie Vulture sound? So it goes again. So now let's see if Vinnie Vulture's sound is a vowel or a consonant. So let's put it into Are You Sleeping and see what happens to the bells. Ready? Pretend to pull your cape up over your head and sing this back to me. Are you vanishing? Are you vanishing? Vinnie Vulture, Vinnie Vulture. Vinnie's bells are saying, Vinnie's bells are saying, ving vong ving, ving vong ving. So what's Vinnie's sound? A consonant. How do you know it's not a vowel, that it's a consonant? Because the bells had to have the ings and ongs to add to the v, so it needed a partner. So it's not like the cheese or like a vowel, it can't stand alone. So now let's take and put Vinnie into the bay a bay that we were singing. So what's it going to be now? Pull your vulture wings over your head, go vay a vay, vay a vay, vay e veet, vay e veet, vay I Vinnie vi, vay I Vinnie vi, vay o voy, Vinnie vi vo, vay you vow, Vinnie vi vo, vow. Wow, now did you hear in there that Vinnie's name was even in the song when we sang it that way? Now let's learn the song to go along with for Vinnie Vulture. So pretend to warm up your muscles like this. Pretend to hold a violin. So you're going to hold the neck of the violin in this hand, and you're going to use your fingers to push down on the strings. Then use this hand to move the bow back and forth on the strings so you can make a vibrating sound. Okay? So sing this back to me. Vinnie plays the violin. Vinnie plays the violin. Let's see, I did that with not quite the right tune. This is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So if we do it to that tune, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And now sing the same thing, but to that melody. Ready? Vinnie plays the violin. Vinnie plays the violin. Now take your cape and pull it over your head. Then he vanishes again. Then he vanishes again. Now pretend to vanish, so you're playing hide and seek. Vultures playing hide and seek. Vultures playing hide and seek. Now we need to make Vinnie's letter So to make a V, you can just put your fingers up in the air like this, and you can see how easy that is to make a letter V. Okay, so sing this back to me. V's for vulture, sneak and peek. So you're sneaking around and you're peeking. V's for vulture, sneak and peek. Vinnie plays the violin. Vinnie plays the violin. Then he vanishes again. Then he vanishes again. So again, for your melody, think Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, but we're changing the words to Vinnie Vulture song. Ready? Let's do it once more. Vinnie plays the violin. Vinnie plays the violin. Then he vanishes again. Then he vanishes again. Vultures playing hide and seek. Vultures playing hide and seek. V's for vulture, sneak and peek. V's for vulture, sneak and peek. Vinnie plays the violin. Vinnie plays the violin. Then he vanishes again. Then he vanishes again. Let's try that along with our book now, and I'll point to the words and see if you can gesture and sing the song. Ready?
Vinnie plays the violin, then he vanishes again. Vultures playing hide and seek. V's for vulture, sneak and peek. Vinnie plays the violin, then he vanishes again.
Okay, so now when you get your picture of Vinnie Vulture, you can do your rainbow writing over his letter V. And then I want you to think about, on the back of your page, some things to go along with Vinnie's song. So first of all, you might write about playing hide and seek. Is this a game you play? Who do you like to play it with? Where are some places that you like to hide? Where are some places that you find your friends hiding? Vinnie plays the violin. What's an instrument that you like to listen to? Or maybe you play an instrument and you like to do that. Think about what kinds of things you like to do when you get together with your friends. What did Vinnie like to do? Vinnie liked to do sing-alongs at the first part when he had his voice, and then at the end he still did sing-alongs, but he played the violin and his friends sang while he played the violin. Are there any places that you can think of that have vines? Now, vines are what grapes grow on, and they're kind of long, stringy things with leaves. So are there anywhere that you could find some vines? So I hope you enjoyed that story today about Vinnie Vulture. And in our next lesson, we're going to be drawing some things that use the sound and the letter for Vinnie Vulture. So I hope to see you then.